Welcome back to the Cozy Corner podcast.
We hope you all have had a wonderful Thanksgiving and we are fully in Christmas mode over here.
Today we're starting a 2-week series titled Boss Babes. And this week we have our first boss babe, Tasha Gage, who is one of Gaby's friends. And next week we'll be bringing one of my friends on. So can't wait for you guys to listen in.
Tasha was my boss back in 2020 to 2022 when I worked at Torrid, which all of y'all have heard about. My first impression was that this girl's a badass. I was in awe of how she trained me, of how she knew everything about Torrid, and how she just was like on top of her game. And I knew instantly I wanted to be friends with her. So inviting her to the podcast for being a boss babe isn't necessarily just because she was my boss, but because she is a boss by day and she is just entrepreneurial assets in her life. And I just am just so inspired. And so we can't wait to hear more about her today.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you, Tasha, for being here. Welcome to the Cozy Corner. Why don't you introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you?
Okay, well, thank you guys for having me. Gaby makes me sound way cooler than I am, so thank you.
Yes.
You're the best. Okay, so I met Gaby working at Torrid. It's a retail clothing store here in Cedar Park, and her saying that she met me and thought I was a badass, I thought the same thing about her. She walked in like, hey, I applied, give me a job. And I was like,
oh.
And we hit it off immediately. But the reason I was able to, I guess, present myself in that way, in that space, is I'd been at that store. I knew everything about it, frontwards and backwards, and could do it with my eyes closed. And I was passionate about it as well. I'm no longer in that space, but, for me, more than anything, I want to always branch out, and I'm a achiever, so I always want to try new things. And if I'm ever in a space where I'm bored, then I need to move forward. So I'm no longer in that space. I've moved out to the country. I'm pursuing a country lifestyle now and trying to be on a self-sustaining farm on a small space out in the country. And I work retail still by day, and I'm a mama of two, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. Got chickens and rabbits and dogs and a big garden. Yeah, that's kind of, my life's a busy one.
Sounds nice.
And tell us more about how you got into retail. So where I met you, what was before I met you, what was that like?
Yeah, so I was raised by a single mom who said, if you want things, you're going to have to work for them. And so I got my first job before I was technically old enough to work. I was 15 and just getting paid cash, not on the payroll at a restaurant. And I hated it. It was gross. I'm like, teenage girl, I don't want to work in a burger restaurant.
Yeah.
So there was a new clothing store in a local shopping center. And I saw them in the store opening and setting up racks and putting clothes on hangers. And I was like, this place looks cool. And I literally knocked on the door, 15 years old. I was like, will you hire me? And she was like, we don't open for a few weeks. How old are you? I'm like, I'm 15. She's like, when do you turn 16? And it was right around the corner. And she was like, turn 16, come. And I started the week after my 16th birthday, clothing retail. I love that space and I never left. I love fashion. I love girl talk. I loved making women feel good about themselves. I am a very, I thrive on girl relationships. I need that friendship in my life. So yeah, I got to 16 years old and I'm now 30 and I've been in retail forever. I just worked my way up through college. Became my first manager of a retail store at 18.
Nice.
That's huge.
Yeah, full-time in college.
Wow.
Managed the store after school or on days I didn't have school. And yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I was going to school for something. I was one of those people who didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I liked my job. I knew I wanted to go to college to have that experience, but I didn't have a career path in mind. but I did know I didn't want to go into debt for school if there wasn't a clear goal in mind. So when I ran out of money for school, I stopped going.
Uh-huh.
Stopped going, and I enjoyed that experience. I met my husband at college,
Oh.
but I just pursued retail management, and I'm not mad about it. I love my job, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Exactly.
so
I know, which is so interesting why they would, because I feel like when I worked with you, I was like, this is so, I feel like it's this, because you always said it's the space you create too.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
and you were in the position where you could, you're obviously hiring people. So you were like, I want to hire responsible, friendly people. So like, that's like what really represented the store. At least that's why I talked about it all the time on the podcast. Like, wow, I love this. This is so much better than I expected. Because I always was told, yeah, retail, it sucks to work in retail. But I think it's just the stores that hire the certain culture. But you created your own work culture there.
Yeah, it's who you work for sure, and you have to build a relationship and a family with your people, because you don't work for the job, you don't work for the money, you work for the people that you're surrounded by. That's what I believe in. And if I don't have a family environment, why do I want to come here every day?
Exactly. And I like how you said at the beginning that you were just passionate about what you're doing. And that's, I feel like, to find your dream job as per se is you have to be passionate about it, right? So that's so inspiring.
So we also did an episode with my sister on like dream career. Is there such a thing? And like nonlinear careers. And like, I think that's such a different aspect of like doing something you're passionate about, going for it. Yes, you don't need school for that. So like you were like, why would I put myself in debt when I can just be thriving and doing have my family? So I love that. So thank you for sharing. So always with our guests on the Cozy Corner, we ask them this epic question, which is, where are you and what are you doing that you feel most cozy? We like to have the visual. It's a podcast, so we like to inspire other people.
Okay, the visual. Gabby's been to my house, so she can see the visual.
Yes.
My cozy time is at night outside around my fire pit. My husband builds a fire. I don't care what time of year it is. I could be cold and have a blankie. It could be summer and I have a alcoholic beverage in it.
I was gonna say a margarita.
Yes. Yeah, just outside around the fire, kids running around, dogs running around, just being able to see the stars, have the coziness of the fire. If I've had a bad day, my husband will call me and be like, "Do you want me to make a fire?" Like, absolutely. That's the happiest I can be is out there.
Question: would you have one of your bunnies or chickens out with you or no? Keep them in their homes.
Well, the chickens are always everywhere. Salsa will want to join the party. The bunnies need to stay in their cage.
Their cage.
Don't bring them out to the fire.
Dogs and chickens, free range.
Love it. That's a great cozy visual. Thank you.
And I feel like it's a good time right now. It's getting chillier. So yeah, you get out with your blanket. I'm sure it's colder there in the country too than in the city, right?
You don't have as much light pollution, so you could like see probably more stars than we do.
So beautiful. All right. So we wanted to kind of like going into our main discussion. We have the definition of an entrepreneur, which is the person who organizes and operates a business or businesses, taking on greater than normal financial risks in order to do so. So being an entrepreneur, I feel like a lot of people, they think it's such an ideal job or a position that people strive to be in, but we completely understand the challenges it takes to be one. A lot of the time, from the outside looking in, it looks so dandy and fun, like you have your own business, or you have your own schedule, you're able to be in control of everything that you want. But we're sure on the inside and in the background, it takes many trials and errors to get where you are today. So we just want to give a shout out to all those boss babes out there, and boss men, if you're a man listening and you're a boss man, who are kicking butt and doing what they love and dream of doing. So, Tasha, for you, what have been some risks that you've made for a job or entrepreneurial business?
All right. Well, we started a business for my husband, and um, I I'm a boss babe, I guess, because I have been in a managerial like status, and so I know how to run a business, and so the starting of it and all of that really relied on me, but it's my husband's business.
Okay.
He decided 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that he was going to go to school to be a massage therapist. He was like me in that he worked his same job. He was in the restaurant industry and just decided one day, this is what I want to do. I want to help people, and this is how I'm going to do it. We put him through school, graduated, and then COVID hit. So massage studios were not really hiring people, and it was kind of a weird time. The only way that he could be successful, we knew, is that if he did it on his own. Because these spas were not as popular as they used to be. And so we started our business. We knew that we were in a little town and that it was going to be difficult to reach out to people because we're new to town where everyone's lived there their entire life and knows each other. And we're the new people. So we knew it was going to be difficult to start up. But for us, we decided to take that leap because we have kids and the scheduling aspect of it. And with all the time that we were commuting from our little small town into a big city for either of us to work was taking more and more time away from our family. And that's really where our priority of life is with our kids. So we opened him a spot and had the financial risk of paying rent on a building on top of our own mortgage payment. And it was a big leap of faith for sure, but it was all for the main goal of spending more time with our family and being able to make our own schedule, like you said. And that was the most important. So the trials that we came up with were really not so much financial. We definitely planned that out before we started. Like, this is what we can afford to do. And
like that's like a must.
Yes, we have to do that. How long can we sustain ourselves if you make $0? Which we definitely ran into. All of our money that we made went back to the business to pay for the lights to be on, pay for the rent, pay for things that we needed for the place. And so we had that plan, but also we had to figure out social media. How are we going to outreach? My husband does not have any social media. No Instagram, no nothing. He's never had anything. So I had to be working my full-time job, creating the space because I'm also decorating and I want it to look nice and a spa experience when you come in.
Yeah, of course.
I want it to be beautiful. I want people to want to come there and feel comfortable. But also we have to network and meet people and create a platform on the internet where people can see who we are. And that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work. And a lot of that fell on me just because I had the experience with it.
Wow. Yeah. So much. And I feel like I was like, obviously, I mean, we've been friends throughout this whole process, and just hearing, we send each other Marco Polo videos, which is like a video messaging app. And it's just, I'm in awe. Like, honestly, like, I think so many people don't do entrepreneurial things because like that's a lot of work when you have a full-time job and like also kids and a house, all that stuff. So I think just being dedicated and like being passionate, but like with that, all of that comes with fear of failure. It comes with people's opinions. So I feel like with taking risks and like having to stay disciplined with that, it comes with fear of failure. It comes with people's opinion instilling fear. So what was that like? And if it was something that came within you or Brent, your husband, or people's opinions, or just like that, how do you kind of battle fear and failure, fear of failure?
Definitely, we have to balance each other out. Since it was Brent's business, he was going to be the one providing the service.
Mhm.
He had the fear of failure, and I had to be the one to balance him out. I
Mhm.
don't have a fear of failure. I more have a fear of what if.
Mm.
That is my fear. What if we never opened it? I would always be wondering what if. We saw the space and had the idea, and I couldn't get the idea out of my head. So if we had never done it, what would happen if we did? He was more scared. What if it doesn't work out? Okay, but who cares?
Yeah.
What if it does work out? And yeah, so the fear of failure was not there for me, and I had to be that light at the end of every obstacle for him. That okay, well, if it doesn't work out, at least we tried.
Mhm.
And whose opinion are you worried about?
Mhm.
We don't know anyone in this town. So who's going to judge us if we open and then have to close?
Yeah.
Our family just wants us to be happy and to provide for our kids and give them a life that his parents and my parents know that we didn't have. So them seeing us try, that's all they could want too.
That's awesome.
It's inspiring. Like
Well,
totally. Yeah, because I think, I mean, of course, I feel like listening to you, I'm sorry to interrupt, but listening to you talking about that, like, of course, your husband as the one being the main business for this, but you being there like as his backbone. That's what that's what a marriage is. So that's awesome to listen to. You're the backbone for him.
yeah, that's why I'm like, she's like, oh, you're on a Boss Babe podcast. I'm like, yeah, but him, like it's him, like
Yeah.
good.
No.
And like
Yeah.
I'm always like a cheerleader for him, but it's definitely 50-50. Could have done it without each other.
You're a team. You're a team.
Yeah, it's a team effort, and all not even just a business, but just being a mom and working full time and the things that we have going on at home. Um, you have to have somebody else to help you out in those things and those goals and keep you up when you're down, or at least listen to you when you're frustrated, because the business definitely comes with frustration.
Exactly. And like going on talking, now we're kind of talking about family and you being a wife and a mother. You have to like set priorities too. Like how do you balance that life? What is it? Work life, family life? What are your priorities in life and how does that fit with your passions?
Well, priorities are definitely the kiddos.
Mhm.
Before we had kids, we knew that our priority with being parents was to give our children more nature than screen time. So we always knew we were not going to have kids while living in an apartment in Austin. We weren't going to do it. We were going to have the goal of being out in the country, or at least in a neighborhood where we could get out easily.
Mhm.
And not, we don't have TV, we don't have internet, we don't have cable, we don't have anything. We have a TV, so we're not like we're not that crazy. But my kids are not like on tablets or anything like that. Like, I feel like kids learn too much about the world through a screen
Mhm.
instead of their parents or actual real life experiences. So that was really important to us. So giving them that lines up exactly with our passion, because we want to be sustainable and we want to grow our own food and we want to provide for ourselves without having to rely on worldly things to get us by every day.
I just want to say, I feel like now we can like go into a whole podcast about being a mom. I want to like learn everything from you. Like, how do you do that without technology? Like, I want to learn all.
Yeah.
We can have you back for a mommy and me podcast for season 4.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we could totally do that. But yeah, it was important, but it was also, we went a little bit too hard, because now Dakota, she started kindergarten this year. She didn't know what a computer was.
Like what
Like
they have at school.
what is internet? She didn't know what internet was.
Oh my
Like if I show her something on my phone, she thinks it's my phone did it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look
Yeah.
at these cute shoes I found on my phone. And she's like, oh, a phone. But what is a computer? What is
Yeah.
internet? What is Google?
Oh.
Oh, no. Maybe.
Well, she's going to learn it like that at school. So,
More like that, it'll be.
Yeah, they go to computer lab now. And so she's, getting with the times.
Do y'all remember when we went to computer lab? It was like just for typing. Like, I
Yeah.
remember doing.
it was just for typing
Yeah, like. So they
in elementary school.
how to Google things. I would assume.
They get
or I
on
don't know.
PBS Kids and watch like
PBS.
educational videos.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
She was teaching me about the moon the other day. And
Cool.
I don't know. But, I want to teach my kids about, like, we're talking the other day. Someone was asking me about the rabbits. Like, we started a rabbitry, very small, which is very odd to say because I didn't know this was even a thing until 6 months ago.
What is a rabbitry?
A rabbitry. You have male rabbits and female rabbits, and you mate the rabbits. And rabbits are a source of meat, and people in the city don't realize that, but it's not gross. Like, people have done it for years and years and years. I found out when we started it that my mom and her parents, who my grandparents are 90 years old now, they did it when she was a kid and raised rabbits for meat because they were poor and they lived with very little means and they had a bunch of kids. So it's a very like sustainable and affordable way for money too, because you can sell the rabbits and you can sell the meat, you can sell the fur if you do it the right way. So we started this, and somebody was asking me when I said that we mated the rabbits yesterday. They were like, what role do your kids play in this? I'm like, this is sex ed in a way that like makes sense. This is how it should be taught, in my opinion. A male and a female together make babies, and they can see it without it being weird at school. So they're able to see it at home and see it through us, and in a way that is natural.
It's this wholesome thing. Yeah, it's like.
So they're not going to be confused when they have that in whatever grade you're in.
I think it's 5th grade. Yeah.
6th grade. Oh, maybe 5th grade.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Like that.
Yeah, that's cool. So speaking about, so that's kind of like, that's what's going to be one of y'all side hustles. So describe to us about like what the discipline like. Again, I guess this is kind of all wrapped around being this entrepreneurial mother, wife. What is the discipline like with the ventures you're beginning now, the dreams you have later? Because I know, y'all got some future dreams of the beer garden that I would love for you to talk about. So like, what does, like discipline with like the schools? I mean, the kids now are at a very young age. Dakota's just in kindergarten, Maverick's itty bitty. But like, like what? Have y'all like talked about that, or are you kind of just like, we gotta just go with the flow and go?
We are very go with the flow people. Very go with the flow. And when we decide to do something, it's pretty quick. We do our plans quickly, and it's stuff that we talk about and we dream about together, and we have for so long. So when the time comes and we know it's the right time, we're able to do it.
You're like, hit the ground running.
We had all the plans for the massage place, and then we saw the building. We're like, let's do it now, and we're able to jump into it immediately. So just dreaming all the time, always thinking about what if this happened, and have a plan. Really helps for when the right time comes. So you're not stressed out trying to force things to happen before the right time comes. We're go with the flow, and I would say as far as balancing it with kids, just include your kids in what you're doing and make it fun for them. We were never the parents that say, oh, we can't do something because we have kiddos. They're going to come with us. I almost brought a kiddo today. If it was going to be on not a school day, I'm like, can Dakota come? Because, they are just as much a part of our lives and the businesses that we create. as we are, and there's no reason that we can't do things with them tagging along. For future plans, what we're planning next is we love the little small town that we're in, and we want to create a community around things that we see we don't have. So we come from this suburbs of Austin where there's a lot of cute little places to go out for a date night. We just don't have that where we are. It's like we have the grocery store and a couple of little shops to buy things. But what we discovered when we moved there is there's a nice restaurant and then there's not so nice.
Yeah.
Sports bar atmosphere, and we're like, we need something in between. We're nicer than that place, but we don't want to be at a fancy date night all the time. We've got kids. I want my mom to come watch the kids for an hour while we go have a margarita, and there's nowhere to do that. So what we think our community needs is a beer garden. That's something that we really enjoyed here in Austin. Casual patio atmosphere. Bring your dog, bring your kids, have a drink, and leave. Like we don't have anything like that in our town. So that's something that, with my managerial experience in business owning and Brent's restaurant experience that he's had, that's our next business
I love
venture.
that. And yeah, bringing the kids, like it could maybe, would you like consider having like a kids
Playground or something?
Playground,
Absolutely a playground. I want a
dog-friendly.
dog park. When we still lived here in Austin, I had a whole business name. It was going to be called Bark and Brew, and it was going to be a dog park, brewery, that kind of thing. But where we are, country people don't take their dogs places, okay?
Because they're like already out in the country. That makes sense.
Those dogs are already outside all the time.
Yeah.
They don't so it's kind of changed. But yeah, bring your kids, casual atmosphere. You can bring your dog if you want to, but really just to hang out outside, like at a picnic table, have a casual atmosphere that's not grungy and gross. And
Nice.
Yeah, I love hearing that, like you say, like I'm including my kids because they're in my life. I feel like so many, not so many, but some people that are like, oh my God, kids are gonna like whatever, ruin your life. You're not gonna be able to do
Derail your life
plans. And like, it's just so not true. It's like, that's just like your kids are, it's just, if anything, it brings like more, yes, it's gonna probably bring things you have to see differently. You probably have to do things in a different way, but like, I think it brings joy.
Yeah.
So like, whatever.
And you won't know it until it happens. I always say nobody is ready for kids until they're here, and we have to figure it out. But that is my biggest pet peeve, is I can't do the things I want to do if I have kids, so I have to wait. I have to get all my traveling done out of the way, like spend my entire 20s traveling and doing that before I have kids. I'm like, why can't they come with you?
Yeah.
You can see the world so much differently with a little one, because they see things so differently than we do. And if you were not able to have those experiences as a kid because your parents were too stressed of making sure that you were okay and that you got to cheer practice and all of that, like when you want to provide that to a kid, I know we do.
Yeah, I think it is like our parent. I mean, not saying individually our parents, but like I think it's the parents' generation of like we heard as kids, like I'm always doing all this stuff for you. Like I couldn't, do, like, I know my mom, like she was like, I kind of gave up on singing when I got pregnant. And it's like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, why did you give up on singing? Like, why did you could have done side gigs. You could have brought us some, like, it would have been, but I know like different generations have different stigmas of like what parenting is. So I think it's really cool that we have guests like you that come on and is like, you can actually do it all. You just have to be motivated and disciplined with your life.
And not be afraid to change the roles a little bit, because I'm the one who works full time and my husband stays home with kids. Yeah. And he works what he does when I'm home. Yeah. And so it's around me and my schedule, and I can be the breadwinner and he can raise my kids when I'm not there. and that's okay.
Yeah.
It makes me less of a mom. It makes me more of a mom.
Yeah.
Because if I that's my attitude in life is if I'm not achieving or working for something that's a goal, it makes me feel significant. I can't be my best self at home. So it's okay to change what we've been taught our whole lives in order to make your life.
Yeah. We all got to take that attitude, I think. I love that because I hadn't heard it's so, I mean, even nowadays, people, like you said, people are saying, oh, I can't do it because I have my kids, or I'm going to wait to have kids because I want to do this first, blah, blah, blah. But I love that. You just gave me that spark in my head that a lot of people I feel need to listen to that. So I'm going to go around saying this, even though I don't have kids yet. When I do, I'm going to go around.
Have babies. All mom babies.
We're ready. I'm ready to have my kids. But it's all in God's hands.
Of course.
Do you have any advice or tips for people who might be aspiring to become entrepreneurs?
/ boss babe.
/ boss babe, boss men.
Really, one of the first thoughts that I said, that would be my advice, is to not have a fear of failure, but have a fear of what if I didn't try. Because I know personally, when I see somebody creating their own business or trying something new, a new venture, if it doesn't work out, I'm not judging them. I'm like, well, awesome for you for trying. Like, you are badass. I cannot believe that you did that. I'm so proud of you for putting yourself out there. So why would I put myself in different shoes? Why would I put my business ventures as like, oh, what if I fail? If I look at other people and inspired by them, why should I feel differently?
So do you have any last minute thoughts, comments, like just in general about life, being 30, being a mom of two, being a friend to me, being Bandit's #1 fan? Guys, if you're not watching us on YouTube, Bandit has been on Tasha the whole time.
Cuddles.
He loves her.
Good cuddles.
Yeah.
I will say not with turning 30, but I kind of used it as an excuse to give myself a little bit more time. So, I work full time, mom full time, business on the side, chickens, rabbits, dogs, and I love all those things, but I need relationships, I need friendships, and I can't be my best self if I don't have those things. So I used 30 as an excuse. Me and my husband got on our first trip. We got a normal 6-year-old, and we've never been away for longer than like one night. We went on a week trip out of state. It was fantastic. And I told Gaby, and I tell everybody, we're bickerers, and we bicker all the time. We love each other, but this is who we are. We bicker. But we went on this week trip, and we did not fight at all. At all. The whole time. And so it was really, really lovely to just have that one-on-one time. And then my husband knows how important it is to me to have my time with Gaby. So, I take the time to come see her, or she comes and sees me, and that's super important to me also. So taking the time that I need to refill my cup so that I can do all the things that I do on a day-to-day.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I love that. And thanks for coming on the show, honestly.
Thanks for having me.
Like, you just saying, like, just do it. Don't care what people think. Like, that's what I think me and Darlene talk about this podcast. Like, we want to do it, so we're doing it. Whether it's 1,000 people listening or fewer, So thanks for just supporting us, and me especially, because it means a lot that when you said yes and you come here and get dog hair all over you and
I love it.
All the cuddles.
Oh, I'm so happy to finally have a face to Tasha, because Gaby has told me so much about you, how awesome you are, and like inspiring. So finally, I'm so happy to meet you. Too bad it wasn't in person, but here we are through what is it, video chat?
Chat, Zoom.
Yeah, no, it was so nice to meet you too. You're very sweet.
And I wish you all the best in your
Yeah.
business ventures. Hopefully we can meet one day. We can go to your, what is it, the brewery one day whenever it opens.
See her chickens and rabbits. Yes.
Aw.
We can hold a chicken and
That would be amazing.
yeah.
I love that.
We know we all have goals and dreams set in our minds that might seem impossible to achieve or even scary, but they aren't if we set our minds into doing it anyway.
Sometimes our dreams or goals are too big that they scare us. We want you to throw that mindset out of the window and remember that it's okay to be afraid, but that you do them anyway. Like the saying, if your dreams aren't scary, they aren't big enough.
So this week's intention is to not be afraid and do it anyway.
Thank you so much for listening to the Cozy Corner podcast, where two besties come together to reminisce, catch up, chat, and discuss many topics, all 20-something-year-old space.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode and talking with our dear friend Tasha. Feel free to write us on Instagram at the.cozycornerpod or send us an email at thecozycornerpod@gmail.com.
Have a beautiful week and see you next time on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube.
God bless, take care, and adios, amigos.
Adios.